So, nice. Hello again. My name is Tasos Zachos, and I am the editor-in-chief of Fortune. Thank you for being there today. We are going to have an interesting discussion about entrepreneurship, new markets, new cultures, and investing opportunities. Born global is becoming nowadays the new born digital. Markets are not necessarily divided by just geography anymore. Companies should think about being global right from the start. There are some industries, for example, that are more apt than others to make the leap earlier. Software companies, I can say operating in the cloud, can operate anywhere in the world. One of the promises of tech is that you can do almost everything you want from any place at any time. So you don't really have to be located somewhere to work on something you are going to process. Other types of commerce that are more physical in nature can make the transition as well, but perhaps not as fast. For many businesses, operating globally in the future is a matter of when, not of if. The key is to start thinking from the start about potential customers, about partners and other countries around the globe that can help your company be ready when the opportunities do arise. Speaking about the Greek ecosystem, we have some good news. In case you miss it, on the back of its strong USA expansion, Blueground, a Greek startup real estate company, just announced a solid round of finance, about $20 million, and also two new markets, Dubai and also Europe countries. And Kevin Ryan, a famous entrepreneur, is an investor for Blueground, the Greek company, and also it supports them on the board of directors. We have also some other examples like Bit and Workable, but generally in Greece, we need more success stories in order to cure risk aversion that characterizes mainly people in Southern and Eastern Europe. Which is the benefits from an international strategy? The main benefit of international scale-up for Greek companies is that these success stories will reinforce locally the cycle of startup creation. Also, successes bring the spotlight to the local ecosystem, inducing investors to take a closer look at founders from peripheral markets like Greece. This increases the supply of capital, but it is also, as you know, educational for founders as they interact with experienced investors from more mature ecosystems like London or Berlin. Also, local ecosystems get the benefit of increased employment, and also an upgrade of the local human capital takes place through a transfer of work ethic, culture, and knowledge. We're going to discuss all these topics with experienced and inspirational speakers. So with me today, we have Mrs. Roloff Torte. Welcome, Roloff. She is a lead startup coach currently designing the accelerator Smart City Hub, one of the largest German innovation communities. We have also with us Mrs. Edison Sherrill, founder, business innovation advisor, and strategist from Silicon Valley, California. Welcome. We have with us Mr. Kostas Pardalis, CEO and co-founder of Blendo. Blendo is a self-serve data integration platform that allows you to collect and sync your data with any data warehouse. I'm correct? Welcome. Thank you. And Mr. Mario Stavropoulos, CEO and co-founder of Softomotive. The company raised 1 year ago, as I remember, 25 million from investors and relocates to the UK as a base for global growth in the fast development market of robotic process automation, RPA. Correct? Welcome. You are going to have about 5 minutes to present yourself, speak about you, and then we're going to have discussion. And after the discussion, I'm going to give you the chance to have some questions. You can also submit your questions to this platform. You can see the pass. And after the discussion, we're going to see them, okay? Thank you very much. And we start with Roloff.
Okay, hello everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thanks for inviting me. So my name is Dörte Roloff. I'm from Germany. I'm based in Hanover. Who knows Hanover? Oh, wow, I'm really impressed always. So for those who don't know Hanover, it's 1.5 hours from Hamburg. So, but this is just a side information. So what I'm doing, so of course I'm working with entrepreneurship and innovation, mainly focused on business development, prototyping, testing. So I'm working with startups, with students, with organizations, companies to become more innovative and to execute that actually. I will pick two main projects where I'm involved. You already mentioned the Haven. The Haven, that is a big co-working and maker space, including fab labs, a lot of workshops, very professional. And this is based in Hanover. And we built up a big innovation community. We are now we have over 1,500 members. That includes experts in different fields, like investors, different technologies. We have freelancers, startups, corporates. So there is a big range, a lot of people coming together to actually innovate and do that together. So the fact collaboration between those people is a very important fact. That's why since last year we set it up an accelerator program that is called Smart City Hub. So, but our definition of smart city is a little bit different. So it's a kind of startups should develop solutions for smart citizens. So this is mainly our definition of that. And I'm in charge of the whole program, so I'm organizing the whole coaching, training, and whatever. But the core actually is the collaboration. So bring people together, inspire them, get experience, exchange, because at the end, this is when the accelerator program is over, that's what is left and what they can still use. So building up innovative networks, that's one of the core things. And that's why we included a lot of corporate partners, and we are matching them individually. So, but I will talk about that later. And there is another project I want to mention. I'm also a co-founder of the Prototypen Party or Prototyping Party, because we believe that it's very important that the startups start lean and quickly, and go out and iterate and test their prototypes to come to the perfect product. Therefore, we developed an event where those startups, designers, creators can just present their actual state of their product. So they need to bring physical or applications or mock-ups, whatever, what kind of prototype, it doesn't matter. And they will get direct feedback. And they need to find a way to get as much feedback as they can. So this is all about the event. So, and that's what I'm focusing on as well during my work. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much. Cheryl, your turn.
Okay. Right. Hello. So, can you hear me? I have to press a button. Technology. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah. All right. Hi. So my name is Cheryl Edison, and I'm visiting with you today from San Francisco, California. Yes, that's part of Silicon Valley. Sometimes people say, is San Francisco anywhere near Silicon Valley? Yes. So my work is to launch companies. I've been launching companies for many decades. I'm not going to tell you how many because I don't want to reveal how old I am. But it's, a few. I began my work in Barcelona, Spain at the age of 17, launching a company there into 13 countries around Spain, so into Europe. I then moved to New York City and began launching companies from the United States into Europe. When I was 24, and the reason I'm saying this is because I see many people in the audience today who are around that age. When I was 24, I had the honor of launching Revlon into Puerto Rico. That was important for me because it told me something that I would like to tell you today. If you can imagine it and you're willing to be courageous, go ahead. Go ahead. You don't need anyone's permission. I've been here in Greece for about 4 days, and what I can tell you from my experience of working across 5 continents and 47 industries is that now is the time. Don't wait. There's a lovely lady here in the front row whose name is Eleni from the US Embassy. She's a cultural affairs officer. I will be continuing to contribute to her with information. If you would like to launch your startup, contact Eleni, and I will do all I can to help you. My focus in the world today is to help you. I link creativity, community, and commerce, and my current focus is placemaking. So I work 2 weeks of each month in Switzerland, launching startup ecosystems there, and 1 week of the month in a different country in the world to assist in launching startup ecosystems. And 1 week I stay at home with my little dog, Minnie, in San Francisco. So if I can contribute to your success, please let me know.
Thank you very much. Kostas, your turn.
Press the button. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I think it's my first time that I have to address a Greek audience in English. So this is, I think, a new experience for me. I would like first to thank Tassos for inviting me here, and also thank you, Cheryl, for the amazing introduction. I mean, I think you were at the point when you said about permission is something that we have a very special relationship with the Greeks, so it's good that you mentioned that. So let me tell you a few things about me. I'm a first-time founder. As Tassos said, I'm the founder and CEO of Blendo. How many of you, have heard of Blendo? Okay. That's good, that's good. I mean, makes sense, because actually we started and we made the choice from the beginning to not work in the local ecosystem. So I think this is one of the reasons that Tassos, by knowing our story, wanted us to be here. He made a very good introduction on a technical level about what we do, but let me try to tell you just a little bit about what value we are giving to the people we work together. So our product actually helps companies to prepare themselves and be competitive in the data economy by harnessing the value of the data that they generate on the cloud. So we give them easy access to all the stakeholders inside the company to use this data and make data-informed actionable decisions. I don't want to speak so much about what we do on the product level or on the technology level. These are for different kind of sessions, but I would like to tell you more about the company, because going global is not just about how you approach markets, but also how you position yourself as a company. Blendo is a company that actually operates in Greece. Our main market is in the US. We are incorporated in the US, and the company actually started in Tel Aviv, Israel. So I think that we match the profile of a company that actually starts globally from day one. For us, it wasn't an option to do something different because of the nature of our product we had and the maturity of the local ecosystem, local market actually, not ecosystem, in the sense that we couldn't find customers here. So from day one, we had to figure out ways to approach customers from abroad. And at the same time, because we were first-time founders and we all came from a technical background, it was very difficult for us to actually define what the market is. So we had to experiment a lot, make a lot of mistakes. And if I am successful today, I would like to communicate with you that you have to be global and local at the same time, in the sense that you have to look outside your local environment, but at the same time, you have to be very close, even geographically, to your customers. So prepare yourself if you plan to start building a business that is going to scale, that you will be traveling a lot and meeting with fascinating people from all around the world, but you have to be close to them. That's all from my side as an introduction. I'm very happy to be here, and yeah, that's all.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Kostas. Data has a huge impact nowadays. We are going to discuss it later. And Marius, your turn.
Hello. Hello. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. My name is Marius Stavropoulos, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Softomotive. We are a robotic process automation company, and actually I'm gonna shamelessly copy what Kostas did and ask you, let's make it a competition. How many of you do you know Softomotive? Okay, I think we just lost.
2.
Okay, this also makes sense because we are a global company. We don't have any significant customer share here in Greece. So let me tell you a few things about who we are and what we're doing. We've been founded in 2005. It's been quite a while, but back then it started as a different company. We produced software that was intended to the individuals and was delivered through the web. So for a software company, it's always not only easy, but it's always the obvious choice to be global and not to target a specific local market, because we are talking about bits, and bits know no frontiers. What happened at some point is that the enterprise market matured in terms of automation, and what was called back then simply automation became what's now known as robotic process automation, which actually refers to software, not to actual robots, refers to software that is used for automating repetitive processes that are being carried out usually in a large organization or an enterprise. We are talking about, on a first level, we may be talking about replacing humans from the works that they are doing, but now we've we've moved over that, and now we are talking about augmenting people in their everyday work and making people more productive and more useful and providing more value to their organizations. As a company, as I said, we've been quite a few years, and then at some point we started growing in the B2B market. We expanded to different geographies, so we started in Greece, but we now have a presence in London, in New York, and in Bangalore, India. We received a funding, it was last September, of 25 million USD as a Series A funding from a London fund, and we also moved our headquarters to London, but still the Greek hub is the biggest at the moment and will continue to be. In that sense, we are around 100 people as a headcount, and we plan to double within this year. So I'm going to take advantage of this situation, since there are a lot of people here who may be looking for jobs. So please visit our website, and you'll find plenty of opportunities there. And if you don't find any opportunities, just send us an email with your CV. We'd love to hear from you. And by taking advantage of this, this situation, thank you very much.
After this discussion, thank you. I think they are going to send you some emails. Okay, nice presentations. I will start with Cheryl. Okay.
I'm ready.
I heard that the time is now. Can you explain this? Why the time is now? It's the best time now to have your company, to have a startup, from your experience.
Okay, so look, I'm here. Whoopsie, let's push this button right there. Technology and me, we're friends. So, you know, because I've been traveling for many years, meeting with startups and launching companies, hundreds of companies, and funding for hundreds of millions of dollars, then At this point in my life, I can go ahead and use my intuition. I give myself permission to use my intuition. And when I arrived here in Greece, I didn't know what to expect. I literally did not know. It was really windy, the yogurt was amazing.
You were unlucky with the weather.
But here's what I've learned. The level of talent is extraordinary. The support from person to person, people to people, is good. There's actually only 6 characteristics that are needed for a startup ecosystem to thrive, and there are already 3 of those 6 here and actively working. Those 6 are, and I'm just going to call them out, right? So those 6 are startup mindset. Okay. Every person that I met with has enough of a startup mindset. It's true that that startup mindset is a little bit marginalized. I would like it not to be marginalized, again, indicating my friend Eleni here, because I'm going, she's staying, and I want this to continue. So I'm sorry, Elena, We need to make this startup mindset part of the everyday conversation. It's not just for the hip and cool people. It's for everybody. You know, the guy who runs the coffee shop on the corner who's 60 years old, he's an entrepreneur, okay? He could go global. So startup mindset. Number 2, government. Okay, now don't react.
Speak free.
Just know that in my experience of traveling to many, many countries, you ain't got it that bad. I understand there are emotional circumstances, and there are things that could be better. There are things that could be better all over. But let me just say that in terms of launching a startup here, you got it pretty good. So instead of complaining, just go ahead and have what you want. Government is okay. Number 3, cash. Okay, you might think that there's not enough cash. There's cash.
There is.
There's massive amounts of cash in this country waiting to invest in you. You just have to make yourself visible. Now I'm going to go to the 3 you don't got. The education here is not quite helping you out. The programs that I've seen so far are not really helping. The knowledge base is not in place. You need training and coaching programs. Maybe this lovely lady to my left, who's a little closer usually, could help.
Okay.
We need more education here on how to do stuff. Basic pitching, we need that, okay? The next thing that we really need here is what I call nexus. The systems that need to be in place in order for the startup ecosystem to function. Nowhere, guys. It ain't here. It's not here. So those systems which allow you to have free legal services to launch your company because somebody cares and is paying it forward. Boom, you got somebody you can talk to and buy an hour of time to learn how to do your accounting. Boom, you got somebody next to you who's a mentor who will give you 2 hours of their time because they want you to succeed. Where the heck is it? It ain't here. So that is missing in this ecosystem. However, Greece is the original country of commerce. The original country of commerce ever. Coins came from here. So you have it in your blood to extend around the world. You have it in you. And that's why I'm telling you that with the indomitable spirit of the Greek individual, and because of the opening in this ecosystem, and because of the smarts that you have, and the intention that you have, and the shifts in the world trends towards a global economy, and away from what is happening right here now today on the street, now is the time for you. And if you don't step forward into the opportunity, you have no one to blame, because now is your time.
Thank you very much. So we have an ecosystem now in Greece, that's true. Also, we have capitals. To inform you, Equifund in Greece is supported by AIF, and via 9 venture capitals is investing on startups and companies about €500 million, as I remember. And this is a great chance for startups and new entrepreneurs now in Greece. And also we have incubators and accelerators. So we have the ecosystem, but how we boost the ecosystem, how we build innovation communities. Rolof, your turn.
So, yeah, how to build innovation communities? Yeah, that's not an easy question. But at the end, how Shirley already said, it's like, it's about people. It's okay, we need to have like this coaching and this training, all this basic and this knowledge. But at the end, it's about people. It's about collaboration. It's about collaboration, startups with startups with other experts, with investors, with mentors, with corporates. And we just try to create an atmosphere. We try to create a place where all these people come together. And as you said, it will make it more easy when the mentor is sitting next to you, working at his own stuff, whatever. But whenever you have a question, you have immediately access to the answer. And we need to work on that, so we can accelerate fast. Because otherwise, I'm just waiting for the answer. I'm just waiting that there is somebody from the company responding my email, and that will need like 4 weeks. And after that, I will waiting another 4 weeks to have the appointment. So we need to build up an atmosphere where things running faster, the people are talking to each other. And it doesn't mean that we are like just doing a panel like this. You're sitting there, we're sitting here. No, we need to create an atmosphere where we can have coffee together quickly, drink a beer together. Also, of course, beer also help, or another alcohol, or just create an atmosphere where it's a little bit, that is maybe also casual, you know? The most business starts while you are drinking coffee with somebody together. At our place, we have a bar in the ground. It's very cozy, everything, and it's always happening. You are waiting for your coffee at the bar, and it's just like, okay, what about you? What are you doing here? So we need to build up those networks easily, to connect the people in a easy way, to break down the borders, to overcome these barriers. So, yes, and that's mainly what I try to do, be the connector between all those people and to make it easy for them.
Okay. You should drink more coffees with Greek entrepreneurs, okay?
Sorry?
You should drink more coffees with Greek entrepreneurs. Kostas, before 6 years, it was 2013, as I remember. It was a difficult year for Greece to find some funds or to be a startup there because of the financial crisis. Then you decided to go to Tel Aviv. Can you remember this period? It was a difficult decision. How difficult was to go to another market and to survive there?
First of all, I have to start. It was 2014 actually, but that's not really important. What is important is to tell you a few things about us as founders, and actually I think that this is going to complement both ladies here and what they were saying, because at the end I think that what's the most important it's the network. It's the network that exists and how fast someone can enter this network, and how fast the communication can move inside this network. So when we started, and because we were first-time founders, we were coming from completely different background. We were all engineers. We didn't have any kind of business connections back then. At the same time, because it was natural for us to come up with a product that started from an engineering perspective, it was very difficult in Greece to find the right people to invest both in the team, because when you are a very early company at the end and first time, it's not that important actually, but I think that always when you just start, it's more about the team, about the people there. So that's where the network is important. So it was difficult for us, for the fans here to trust us. And I can understand this now. I mean, it makes total sense. The problem is how fast you can actually nurture these relationships and how fast people can learn in the local ecosystem that Blendo is doing something, or how fast someone who is not like a very sophisticated, in my market, investor can learn about what I am doing and what kind of impact it has. So, okay, we figured out that it would be extremely difficult for us to survive here. We needed both funds and knowledge. So that's how we started trying to get in contact with people from abroad, both funds and accelerators. We tried all the standard places, like applying to Y Combinator for, I don't know how many times I got rejected by them, but
many times.
Actually, it's a very good exercise. I mean, it helps a lot to develop yourself. And that's how we approached some people in Israel. I think Israel is a very good example.
The ecosystem is amazing in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, but what is important about the ecosystem, and I will repeat this many times, it's not the ecosystem itself, because the ecosystem arises from the network that they have built, which actually is inherited in their culture. That's why Israel is so strong in this kind of things, because as a nation, they have a very strong networking effect that is happening because they had to survive. And they actually leverage this also in business.
And also they are a small market as Greece is.
Yeah.
So
actually, it's a very bad market to start from in terms of selling, because you don't, I mean, everyone starts a company there to actually go and sell globally, because they understand that they are very small.
From the first time, from the start, you should.
Yeah. It's a very good model that they have, and I think that it's a model that we can also use here in Greece, because they are relying a lot on their engineering talent that they have, but at the same time, they realize the limitations that they have in terms of reaching out markets and the sophistication that they have when it comes to marketing and sales. And that's where the network actually works very well, and they can expand really fast and play in markets like the US, like in Europe, Asia. They're very well connected there also. So we reached out to them. Of course, by reaching out to a much more mature ecosystem like the one in Israel, you have two benefits, especially when you come from Greece. You are a very cheap option for them, and this is actually good, because they don't have to invest a lot of money, so they can manage the risk they put on you. And you don't need a lot of money to start here. That's also good. And at the same time, because of the nature that they have and the way that they operate, they are more, let's say, willing to take this kind of investments. At the same time, it was very helpful for us that we moved there, because we were exposed in a completely different kind of network. Again, I'm saying the network.
It's a keyword.
Yeah. And to a completely different culture that actually I think it was one of the most important factors that made us accelerate our own development, because what we always have to remember when we are founders is that you cannot develop a company without also developing yourself. It's the same thing. Yeah. We were both, I think, brave enough and lucky enough to make the decision. By the way, when we moved there, it was just, I mean, they both had some kind of warfare down there. So it was a bit strange because, you know, and that's also the first lesson that I learned from them. I mean, I could have the TV on and listen on the news that Iron Dome just intercepted another, like, 30 missiles. And at the same time, I was speaking with them and doing business. So, yeah, there are no excuses. I mean, you can do it. I mean, if you can do it in such an environment, you can do it much easier in Greece. And it's just a matter of making the choice to move forward and do it and find the opportunities. If you can't find an opportunity just outside your door, go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until you find something.
speaking about the network and the opportunities, now, Marios, you are based on London this year. Do you have noticed some changes for Softmotive, the way you work? Which are the main challenges for you now? You have
Actually,
Brexit too.
yeah. The previous speakers nailed it because they talked about the people. Kostas talked about the network, and if there's something that we need to remember about business, and sometimes this is a challenge for us who are from a technical perspective, it's that it's all about people. It's only about people. Sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking that it's about the solution, it's about the technology. But if you think about it, without technology, back in earlier times, you still had companies, you still had any kind of entrepreneurship, even in the ancient times, you still had commerce. In an environment without people, you don't have commerce in Mars, for example. Mm-hmm. So if there's one important ingredient, it's people, and it's all about reaching people and understanding people and finding out what are the needs that people want to have solved. In that aspect, when we're talking about a global organization, such as in our case, where we are currently divided in 4 different locations, and we are going to open new locations, especially this year, it's very important, the communication part. Mm-hmm. So, personally, I spend most of my time traveling, because you cannot simply run a company through the phone, or through WebEx. We have all these fabulous tools now available to us, and we sometimes think that this is enough. But what I remember now very vividly is the first time a few years ago that I visited the US for a business trip, for business purposes. Okay. We were doing business with a number of US companies already. However, the understanding that I had by sitting next to people, by drinking coffees, as that very clearly said, it's a totally different understanding. So what currently, the challenge that we are facing is exactly having this communication open and have all people from different parts of the world working together. We do it by traveling a lot. And having a connection at the human level. So when you go global and when you are distributed among many geographies, this is number one. First, for your employees and for the people in the organization, mm-hmm. But second, also for the customers. You need to be close to the customers, you need to understand, you need to live and breathe in the same way that your customers do in order to serve them better.
Nice. So, network communication, role of, speaking about communication, how crucial is for entrepreneurs who go global to face different cultures in different countries?
So, yes, as you already said, it's about, there are two points where the culture is involved, actually. First is how to make business with some partners and how to behave with those partners. There are some cultural differences and I think some pitfalls in that. And of course, you need to understand the market you want to address then. If probably you have developed a product, a very nice product for your first focus market, maybe it takes Greece, and then you want to go to Southeast Asia with your product. I mean, there is also a difference between like software products and hardware products, of course. Let's just say you want to sell furniture in Southeast Asia and you use the same design. It's probably not going to work because those people over there like more specific patterns, whatever. So what we experienced when we were running student projects in Southeast Asia for some years, we put Germans and Asian students together to develop one product that fits to both markets. And there you could already see the cultural differences, like what means value for me and what means value for them. And what are they willing to pay for that, of course, but this is another topic. But of course, the first fact you mentioned, it's also very important to really understand how you can get in touch, and I mean really in touch, with business partners from abroad. I mean, what it's necessary to really convince them. It's probably a completely different situation out there than here, because we know how it works in our own country. Let's just say, compare Greece with Germany. That's very easy. I mean, I would say we have a very close culture. There is not that big differences than Greek and Southeast Asia. I mean, this is another example. But just take that one. I mean, we Germans, we are very strict. You need to be on point. If you are not punctually, you lost. So that's the only chance. I'm gone after 10 minutes when you're not show up. This kind of stuff, I mean, there is really little things, and sometimes how you dress when you have a business meeting, whatever. Those are really little things, but you need to be aware of that. I don't say, and don't be afraid of that. Just think about maybe and research a little bit before that. So, yeah, that's mainly the thing. Be aware of there is probably cultural difference.
There are differences, but Cheryl, are there some common themes from your great experience when you want to launch a company?
Right, so,
You should push. Okay.
All right, guys, so here's how it goes. When you end up making business above a certain level, it is all done exactly the same. There's one deck that pretty much everybody uses, like 90% of the people. There's one arc of how a deal is agreed. It's one. And those things are the same once you get above a certain level. The differences occur at a local level in what can be perceived as the cultural norms, in localizing your product, which is actually just a go-to-market strategy exercise. You gotta do it. It's not a big deal. If I were to give you a formula for how to do that, I would just say, start by noticing the similarities. Start by noticing the similarities and acknowledge them actively. Number 2, celebrate the differences. Really honor and celebrate how it's different where you're standing now. And then number 3, test and notice. What happens when I do this? What happens when I do that? Just come with fresh eyes and notice how you can actually make a success in every single moment.
Nice. Right then. Thank you very much. Marios, Softmotive is a leader in robotic process automation. It's a big market. It's expected to reach 9 billion in 5 years from now. So what's your plan for to expand your global footprint and also accelerate the development of your product?
Okay. Yeah. As I said before, we are now at the point where we are accelerating our growth. So we raised this funding especially for that because we've been growing organically for a number of years. And we're doing well, we were profitable, but there's a limit to how fast you can move when you are growing organically, especially when the market is a growing one, and there are many opportunities that you need to run after. So currently we are expanding on different geographies within the US. We are mostly now in the East Coast, and we are moving to the West Coast. Then, of course, in Europe, and that's a very interesting part, because we have presence in Greece and in London, and somebody could say that this is enough. But what we sometimes don't understand, especially as Europeans, is that Europe, compared to the US, for example, is a hugely segmented market. For example, what we've learned, and Dirt, maybe you can confirm this, is that it's very difficult to do business on a B2B level if you don't have a local presence in Germany. And the same, of course, holds true for other companies, for other countries on different levels. For example, while you can do very well with communicating in English in Germany, it's more of a challenge in France or in Italy. So we do feel that we are a big family in Europe, and hopefully we are, but there are so many cultural differences that needs to be taken care of, and you need proper way of localizing your presence. So apart from that, we are also expanding. We have an office in India, mostly for the businesses who have their offshore premises there. And then now we are expanding on Southeast Asia, which is a very, very interesting discussion. We've done a few trips, and we've seen the very interesting difference that there are in culture, starting from the fact that small and entertaining trivia that, for example, in China, you don't drink your water chilled, you drink your water warm or hot. And it's somehow insulting to bring someone water that's not hot. Anyway, this little and funny stuff, which are not important, are a bit superficial, but there are also other stuff that, for example, in Asia, you have stronger, you need to have stronger personal relationships that you have, for example, in the West, in westernized markets. So all these are small and large differences that need to be taken care of if you want to expand globally. And as I said before, you cannot do this from a central office. You need to be there and experience this firsthand in order to do this.
But you are in many markets, but you have decided to have the R&D here in Greece. Why?
Absolutely. Well, the obvious choice was to have the R&D here because we started here. The team, the original team, was here, and then it was augmented by new hires and by new people. But then again, I wouldn't say that Greece is the best country to have your R&D, but I would say, let's be real now, let's be real. I would say, why
place.
not? Why not having?
No, it is a good.
It is.
Wait a minute. It is a good country to do your R&D.
It is. I'm not saying that.
Wait.
I'm not saying that it's the best one, but I'm saying, why not? We have everything that we need here. We have the people, we have the talent, we have people who have an international mindset, although this can be cultivated further, and that's also a challenge that I think that things will become better as time goes by and as more companies that are involved in the international landscape are established here in Greece. But we have the people, we have the knowledge, and I think that we have no reason of going elsewhere for R&D.
I agree with you. Kostas, Blendon now is based on Athens, correct? But the main of your customers are from abroad, from USA, for example. This is a good fact for you when you are searching for funding, for example, for investors to approach them.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Funding is, and investment is something that, actually it's a tool that will help you grow, okay? I mean, you can grow organically, like any kind of company like the coffee shop owner Sergey was mentioning. The difference is that when you are dealing with technology, and because we are in a phase where things are changing so fast, you need to be fast. So you need to actually burn money to grow faster. But at the same time, it's also, I think from the point of view of the entrepreneur, you need to understand that approaching an investor is not just about the money itself. Sometimes they talk about smart money, things like this, but if we want to have a more pragmatic approach to that, and talking about networks again, actually it should be part of your strategy to find investors in the markets that you would like to operate at. So if, for example, you want to expand in the US, I think it would be good for you, I mean, not that it's necessary, but I think it would be the best to try and approach the overall market there, both the financial market, where we get funds from there, and at the same time, find out a way to create a presence there and expand in the local market. I don't think that there's any other way to do it. I think it's right that you can start remotely, but especially in B2B, you have from early on start having a presence there, understanding the culture of doing business. I think an amazing opportunity for an early entrepreneur is to actually get involved in sales and try to sell to different people and see how the process is different between selling to an Indian and to an American company, for example.
But investors have KPIs in their minds always, KPIs and numbers.
Not all of them. It depends.
How do you perceive this? Okay.
But at the end, all the investors are humans, and you need to just convince them.
How you convince them? Your product is a difficult product, for example. It's B2B, it's data mining, machine learning. They can understand what you are doing?
That's another factor that you need to have in mind when you are approaching a VC market, because VC is again a market at the end, okay? So you will find more sophisticated VCs, for example, in my market, in Israel or in the US, that you can probably find in London. But if you are a fintech company, or I don't know, in manufacturing, probably it's better, or in e-commerce, maybe it's probably better to go to Berlin and not go to the US for that. I mean, you have to start thinking globally, even when you're approaching VCs, depending on what you want to do, because at the end, especially when you start from a country like Greece, you cannot stay in Greece. I mean, it's a small market. You need to expand somehow. So even if you are fortunate enough to be able to grow fast in Greece, you need to always have in your mind that the next step will be another country, and usually the first market that you should try is the financial market there, the VC market. I think it's a good strategy to expand in a different place. So, yeah, and no, it's not always about the KPIs. I mean, the KPIs are good to establish a conversation, because at the end, when you are talking with a VC, you are talking about the future. Okay, I mean, okay, I have these KPIs today, and for the 12 last months, I was growing like crazy. What guarantees that I will keep doing this the next 12 months?
It's about the team and who are in the company.
It's about everything. At the end, it's about what they also understand about the market, and what opportunity they can find there, about what other investments they have made, what kind of thesis they have as a fund. You need a lot of work, actually. I didn't know that at the beginning when I started. I thought that it's much easier to, like going to the bank and, filling some forms and getting the money at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's something that you have to prepare a lot and have a very good plan on which funds to approach, how to approach them, when to approach them, and actually start building relationships. That's why you cannot close a round in just a few weeks. You need time. And the time is not only because they want to see you, how you work, and what KPIs you are going to bring on the table, but also both want to build a relationship and see if we can work together, because they're going to be partners.
Speaking about relationships, Roloff, I want your comment. Why do you think big companies have started to love startups, to invest on them? They can cooperate, and is this a good tool for startups to go abroad within a big company, for example?
Yeah, so why collaboration between startups and corporates is quite important, at least we discovered that. We involve both in our program, so of course we need to make both sides kind of happy, because the corporates are also financing the program. They are also our customers somehow. So we are talking a lot with the companies that we are involving. What is their goal to participate? And there are several points why they are looking for the contact to the startups. The first is, of course, they probably just want to scout and to invest. That's quite easy to understand. Okay, there will be a pitch presentation, they will just choose and, build up the relationships. That's, you need a little bit time to fix that. But that's not the core fact why they are participating. There are a lot of companies, especially not the big ones, like Google and Facebook. They have a really great innovation process. I'm not talking about those. But a lot of companies have the challenge how to come up with really new, innovative ideas. They probably don't have the deep knowledge about the technology. They are very strict structures. They have a big hierarchy. They cannot execute so fast like startups. And they don't really know how to execute fast, how to be agile. And that is the thing they want to learn from the startups. And they want to learn how they developing their products in a very easy, simple way without investing too much money and to be fast. This is the fact. Because of course, they are also a little bit afraid that there are coming so many fast startups and they will push them from the market. Let's say the finance sector. Do we know if we still have banks in 10 years? Oh, I don't believe in that anymore. We will see. But that was a really nice conversation we had last week, that a guy from the finance insurance sector says, oh, I want to talk to startups and I want to have a deeper insight into the whole ecosystem because I want to know when I need to look for a new job. Because you need to look outside. He says, I don't care about fintech startups or insurance startups, but I need to know how the world is changing, how the future will look like in the future. Do we still need banks? Is it necessary for exchange products? Yeah. So he says it's more important that I'm looking to the startups, to the innovations that will actually change the future, and to check if they still have a place in the future. This is quite interesting, and we really connect them in a easy way. Yeah, we invite them, just having a beer together, talk about the business, and not to create a distance. We try to bring that them to eye level. It's not like the corporates are here and the manager and CEO from a big company is here and the startup CEO is here. No, we try to bring them to this because they can learn from each other. And the startup, on the other side, will get easily insights from the companies, from the processes. It's about building up really relationships. They will, if you drink a beer with somebody together, I'm not talking about the beer, but you will get more insights than just researching, of course. They will use their own network to build up even a bigger network for you. If you really convince them, if you really attach their passion, and then you can open doors and get other possibilities you won't have without these networks.
Before going to the... Nice try, come on. Before going to your questions, I would like your last message to these young, talented boys here and girls, if they want to start their company, what they should know, starting from Marios.
Quite a few things, but I think Cheryl said it before very vividly. Don't ask for permission. Nobody's gonna take your hand and say that this is the right way to do so. On the contrary, you'll hear most of the people saying that that's not the most wise decision. This does mean that you have to dismiss what other people are saying, take into account everything, but then at the end of the day, do what you feel that it's better for you.
Nice. Next, Kostas.
My advice, I don't know if it's advice, but my experience is that starting a business, it's hard. I was fortunate enough to not be aware about it when I started. But it's also fun. I mean, sometimes I think one of the best ways of describing it was, I don't remember who was the investor, it was a US investor who was saying that starting a company, it's like having a baby. You know, it's 95%. Yeah, it's 95% of the time it cries, poop, and all that stuff. But this 5%, it's really worth the time of doing it. And it's also about, for me at least, it's also about getting in contact with cultures and people that I don't think that there are many ways today to experience all these different people, build relationships with all these different people, different cultures, that when you are doing your own company. And also, I mean, it's hard that you have to compete with all these big companies out there, especially if you are building something that you're addressing a global market from the beginning. But there are people who like that. I mean, I'm one of them, and I think it's very fascinating that you can go and actually start competing from day one with all these companies that are coming out from Y Combinator, from all these things that you hear about and see about in the US, and you can do it.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Nice word. Cheryl.
Okay, the button. Okay, hi. So, you know, I really like this question because as far as I can tell, it only takes one thing to have a successful startup. It's really just one. It's that you want to find a problem that's big enough and connected enough to you that you really are finding a purpose in solving it, that you care. If you can find one problem that you care about, everything else will fall into place. There are many things that I could say about the system or what comes second or what comes third and how it all works and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is that you choose something you care about. You can link it to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You can link it to a market. You can link it. You can do all of these things, but none of that really matters. What matters is find a problem you care about and let it be big.
Nice. Care. And Roloff?
Thank you, Shirley. I absolutely agree with you. That's the point number one. But of course, you need to find out if your vision fits to the market out there. So, of course, you need to find a market and you need to find customers that are really willing to pay for the solution you're building. So it needs to fit to yourself and to the market. And now how to find out? Everybody is so scared. Okay, how I can find out if this gonna work or not? A lot of people ask me for advice. Should I do this or should I do that? Oh, I can't tell you. The market outside will tell you. And therefore, you should ask the market and your customers as fast and early as you can. Because otherwise, you're developing and developing and developing, and then you're going out. You already invested 50,000 euros, whatever, and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And you will discover nobody is waiting for your solution after that. So start immediately. Maybe start small when you don't know, when you're not sure. Try to find out. Test it with your customers and users. And then become bigger and be fast. And always remind, so I will share something with you. I have this ring. Is everybody seeing that one? To remind me every day, I will read that. Do what makes your soul shine. To really reminds me, I need to have fun every day while I'm doing what I'm doing.
Thank you very much. Now it's the greatest time. Okay, time for questions. I see something. Okay. What was the first thing you invested in once you got your fund? This would be a good question for Kostas, I think.
Yeah.
I will read some questions from there and then...
No, it's...
Yeah.
The button. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very simple answer. You invest in people. That's nothing else at the beginning. I mean, either it's yourself, you have to survive somehow, or you need to find people who can complement you, because being a founder doesn't mean that you can do everything. So the first thing that you need to do is to find the right people that are actually much better than you in something that is important at the right time for your company. So it's always about the people, I think. And I think that everyone will tell you that most of the money that you spend at the end goes to people. And also keep in mind that being a startup has the benefit of getting many things for free. So you can go to AWS, get credits for free. And so these kind of things are pretty much solved. There's no reason that you cannot find the infrastructure that you need, for example, to run your business.
Nice. Marios, what is the biggest problem you face with your company's growth in the Greek environment?
Perception.
Perception.
Perception, unfortunately. I'm not happy to admit that, but we were dealing with companies all over the world, with companies across the pond, and at that point, especially a few years ago, where the Greek financial crisis was at its peak, there was people who we talked to were kind enough to not express it directly, but there was always the thought in their head that, you know, what's going to happen with this company in this environment, in such a problematic environment. Now, that being said, no problem is never a showstopper, and you need to have this attitude that actually being an entrepreneur means that you are dealing with difficult and challenging situations. That's your role, that's what you are doing. Apart from that, when it comes to growth for a company that starts from the Greek environment. Another challenge, as Kostas said, is that the Greek market is very small. So if you plan to go to grow your company beyond a certain level, you certainly need to look to the outside in the international market, because there's only so many companies here if you are a B2B, or there are so many consumers if you are a B2C. Yeah, I think mostly these are the two most important challenges that we faced.
Do you think that the Greek environment now is more solid after 8 years after of financial
yes,
crisis?
definitely. I see that things are changing. In any case, there are cycles in the economy, there are cycles in society, and you can see it from everywhere that things started to change, and the next years will be much better than the previous ones.
Nice. Rolof, I think this is the question for you. If someone wants to be a startup coach, what is the steps? How do you become a startup coach?
Yeah, how to become a startup coach. How I became a startup coach. So my background is I'm a product designer, and then I was working at university to set up an entrepreneurship center, and I just got a lot of experience in that, and I was willing to share. So I felt in myself during my studies, I need to say, I developed also a technology product, and I was just too, I had not the courage to really start it and to try it out, because there was no support at this time. So the ecosystem in our environment increases a lot the last years. So I decided for myself, we need to change this. It cannot be that there are out so many ideas, great ideas, and they are afraid to start. So we need to support this more or less, we need to push that forward. And I just decided for myself to do that. And I just gave what I can share and my experience. And I didn't expect anything from the startups, because you can't expect like a big salary or something from startups. They don't have money for that. Yeah, and that was the way how I did it. And I'm getting more experience, and I'm just sharing, and I'm giving. And somehow then something comes back.
And a very difficult question for you. Do you believe that political competition can affect the communication between managers of different countries?
You're asking me?
Yeah? The button.
Okay. I'm not really very interested in this question.
Okay.
I mean, okay, look.
Speaking generally about how the
Yeah, I
politics
just think it's a
affect the
nonsensical.
business ways.
Yeah.
Okay. We have another question too.
Okay, try another one. Yeah.
Okay.
Pass.
How is a good communication of a company
Pass.
achieved?
Yeah.
What skills are appropriate for that? The last question.
Okay, well.
We can ask also the audience if you want something.
Yeah,
else.
look, so here's the thing. I will answer the first one very quickly. Political competition, can it affect the communication between managers of different countries? Yes. The person who asked the question already knew the answer to that question. The answer is yes, right? So yes. The last one, has good communication of a company achieved? What skills are appropriate for that? Well, look, the issue in expanding the reach of your company and actually starting up your company successfully is not the same for any individual. The gentleman to my right actually gave the most clear answer. It's never about the product. It's never about the service. It's actually not about the company. It's about you and your willingness to develop yourself. In my work coaching startups, I can tell you that Yes, it's helpful to have launched hundreds of companies and to see some fail and some win. But it's not about that. It's about how willing are you as an individual to learn how to educate the person standing in front of you so that they will ally with you, they will buy from you, they will give you money. How are you able to educate them on the opportunity? And the degree to which you are willing to connect and actually show yourself, that's the degree to which you will succeed.
Okay, thank you very much. I have time for about 2 or 3 questions more from the audience. Come on. Okay.
How can a new startup company, for example, make itself visible in the market from the get-go, or at least not from the get-go, but in a time frame that it's logical for a company to start attracting attention and funds, for example?
Should I answer? Should
Okay.
Okay, look, so this gentleman just asked, what is the time frame and how can a startup become visible in a reasonable, logical time frame? Okay. So again, referring to gentleman to my right, the key difference between a large corporation and a startup is speed to market. The advantage that a startup has is that typically speed to market will make all of the difference because typically startups are engaging in a decision to disrupt the status quo, which, referring to my friend to the left, is why corporations sometimes like to rub elbows with startups, because they know that to the degree to which a startup exists, that's the degree to which they're about to get kicked off the throne. So, the faster, that's the first answer. The faster, the better. So the reasonable speed, right now. Get it done now. How can you be visible? How to be visible has to do with your ability to perceive not what's now, not what's on the horizon, but what's beyond the horizon, and your willingness to communicate clearly and compellingly what's beyond the horizon, so that you can distinguish who you are and why it is that your product or service is important. So you must never talk about now. You must always talk about that thing, that status, which is beyond the horizon. And that will gain you vast amounts of funds, strategic partners, everything that you need.
Nice. Another question? Yeah. Μισό λεπτό. Ας φέρω μικρόφωνο. No. It's open?
It's open?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to ask if it's enough for a small startup to start in a local market and focus on this market and after go globally, or it's a good way to start both of these ways?
Okay. Who wants to answer this? Marios?
It depends. It depends on many factors. However, I think that being global versus being local, it's mostly a matter of mindset. It's something that you either have it from the beginning, and it's fundamental in the DNA of your company, and it's very difficult if you start locally, then move to a global landscape. That being said, there are companies who are better suited to grow global, and there are also many other companies who may thrive in a local environment, and this is totally fine. I mean, it's not a necessity for a company to go global. Don't get me wrong on that. But if the situation is such that being global is the best solution long-term for your company, this is something that it's not easy to be an afterthought. It must be built in from the beginning.
Thank you so much.
Want something? Some of you? Kostas?
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Talking about startups, you have to keep in your mind that usually what we call a startup is something that has to grow big and fast. Okay, so starting from Greece, the starting point is very important. It's different to start local in Germany where you have a huge market there, and it's different to start local in Israel or in Greece, okay? A mistake that it's, I mean, at least I think that Tassos, who has a good perception of the local ecosystem, we have seen many times, is that when you start from Greece, because it's a very isolated market, you might grow fast here, but you are not aware of what we are going to face in terms of competition, of the conditions of the market when you try to go abroad. So I think you can start local. It's part of your strategy. You are responsible as a founder to figure out, am I going to stay here local until, I don't know, someone from Germany comes and buy the company because they want to expand, or I want to think about it. In this case, you have from day one at least tried to figure out the market out there, where you want to be the next steps, and make sure that you have the right people in these markets to take the right decisions in terms of funding, of growing, and everything else.
Okay.
So here's the way that I recommend you think about it. It's not, the question is not local or global, as is the name of this panel. But how do you frame that in your mind? I recommend you try this. I would like to launch this product or this service. Where can I launch that will teach me the most at the lowest cost and the fastest? Wherever that is, that's where to begin.
I agree. We have many questions there, but I don't have time. Thank you very much for your attention. We will be in the next class, I think, for about 5 minutes, if you want to ask something more. Σας ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Θα χρησιμοποιήσουμε λίγο και το δίπλα χώρο, αν θέλετε κάποιες ερωτήσεις για να τα πούμε περισσότερο, εντάξει. Να είστε καλά.